Antonio Conte to Tottenham is not off the table. A deal is still possible as the Italian manager remains interested in the vacant managerial role at Spurs. That is according to Fabrizio Romano and a number of other sources this Monday evening as Tottenham try and sort this managerial search out before the Euros begin. It's going to be a long week for us, and hopefully a very lengthy hunt for a manager will come to an end. Could it be Antonio Conte? Might it be Eric Ten Hag? Well, the rumour mill is still in full flow, and we're going to talk about all of the updates that we've heard today in the next half an hour. Already over 130 people here watching live. Crazy, crazy numbers. Please do hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. Hit that like button if you're happy with this news. And look, as Gregser says, I can't go on this ride again. I'm trying my best not to get my hopes up, but as I said on Twitter, odds are shortening all around on Antonio Conte being the next manager of Spurs, and it's going to pop up beside me there in a second, exactly what the odds are, but just to run through them, there they are. 7-2 with Paddy Power, 5-1 with Sky Bet, 7-4 with Boyle Sports, 6-1 with William Hill, and 7-2 with Betfair. The odds continue to shorten all around. Odds drifting on Eric Ten Hag with Paddy Power, Betfair, and Boyle Sports, and drifting with every other manager in various betting sites. Is this still possible? Well, look, down below me, right there, you can see basically a summary of what Fabrizio Romano had to say earlier today. This deal is not finished. This deal is not over. It's not off the table. Spurs could potentially come back into this in the next couple of days. So just to get the direct quote from him, again, he said this on Chris Cowlin's channel earlier today. We can't say it is definitely finished. Until Friday, Antonio Conte really wanted the Tottenham job, but numerous issues would have to be resolved between the parties. At the moment, nothing is going on. Now, I have heard that once Fabio Paratici is officially made sporting director of Spurs, he will come back in and try one last time to convince Antonio Conte to become the Tottenham manager. Look, we've heard all along that Conte was absolutely shocked by how quickly the discussions fell apart on Friday afternoon. Spurs continued to try and get him in, but under the terms that they were offering, Conte wasn't interested. He wanted to take the weekend to kind of mull things over, and it seems as though then Spurs completely pulled out of the negotiations. Now, Conte remains interested. I don't think that's too much of a surprise, but again, under the current conditions that this job is being offered to him, there's not a chance he will take it. Numerous issues remain. We've spoken a lot about these issues over the last couple of days, and we're going to run through them quickly again, because to me, they seem like issues that are, we can get around. The first one of those issues is the staff members. Antonio Conte wants to bring 7 members of staff to Spurs. Daniel Levy only wants to allow him to bring 4, apologies. That is a bizarre concession that Daniel Levy is unwilling to make. Now, I can understand from a business point of view that is, at Spurs 21, I never said he did. So from a business point of view, it is very possible that this could be probably the right way for Daniel Levy to go. The what I'd say is, if 18 months down the line this Antonio Conte at Spurs isn't quite working out, there's things going wrong, it could go sour like it did with Jose Mourinho. All of a sudden, Daniel Levy doesn't have just Conte and 3 members of staff to sack. He's twice the amount of that. He has 6 members of staff to sack, and compensation paid out, whatever he has to pay when he's sacking those. So from a business point of view, it does make sense, but you do have to also look at the other side of things, that if you give Conte his staff and if you give him financial backing, you will more than likely be successful. And that is the route that Spurs need to go with this. We need to trust in this manager that has been successful. Roy, thank you for subscribing. You need to trust in this manager that is clearly capable of being successful. He's won the league title in 5 of the 7 seasons he's been in senior management. He's won everywhere he's been. And if you give him what he wants, if you give him what he needs, he will be successful. And that is what Daniel Levy needs to realise. That is what Daniel Levy needs to accept, and just put his stubbornness to the side and put the football club first. Dara says, announce Benitez. No, it's not going to happen, Derek. Stop getting your hopes up. And look, Malorian makes a good point there, and it's one that I've made over the last couple of days. It's the most stubborn manager against the most stubborn chairman. Who will have to back down? Malorian doesn't think anyone will. Spurs 21, stop it. It's really not that. Poster says, one day, Matt, give me 1 day of normality. Look, Bob, we'd love it, and hopefully we'll get it when our manager is finally announced. When that will be, we don't know. Just to touch on when that might be, Fabrizio Romano, again on Chris Cowlin's channel today, said Tottenham still hope to produce a surprise in the next couple of days and appoint a manager before the Euros. So the Euros, of course, kick off on Friday when Turkey face Italy at 8 p.m. Spurs hope to have a manager by then. Is that going to be possible? It's certainly going to be very difficult. Now, what I would say, if Spurs are hoping that manager is going to be Antonio Conte, the one plus that we can get from there is 95% of that deal is already done. 95% of whatever agreements were in place last week, the bits that they had already agreed on, well, they're going to still be in place. And that is if, it would make sense that if that is the path Spurs are willing to go down, well, then maybe Conte could be the man, because, we could get that done in time. And again, a lot of that is already agreed. Another problem with the talks between the two as well is the salary. Some important, Conte wants 3 million more than Spurs are offering. Is that enough for Spurs to really mess this deal up for? I don't know. Ryan Lyon 24 coming in with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much for that, Ryan. I really appreciate it. Smash the like button, guys, whether Conte comes or not. Honestly, any manager at this point will be better than this circus. Big up to you, Manny. Thanks very much for that, Ryan. I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. And look, yeah, any manager. I said it last week. I think it was when the pot news fell through. I said it to Bobby. I think I'd like to take Scott Parker just to see this come to an end. Now, that was just the emotion speaking. I obviously don't want Parker, but look, we just want this to come to an end. We want a manager in place. We're falling behind in the transfer window. We're falling behind in preparations for the season. And if this goes on into the Euros, well, we could end up with anybody. We really could end up with anybody. But like we said, Fabrizio Romano says Tottenham still hope to produce a manager before the Euros begin. Now, this morning, Romano's tone was very different, and he said that Antonio Conte is set to take a year out of football as he wants to take his time deciding his next job. He wants to calmly decide the next job. I do apologise for the background noise as well. There's nothing I can do about it. He wants to calmly decide his next job, and he's going to do so after taking a sabbatical for a year. One part of me is thinking, well, the negotiations with Daniel Levy drove him to that. But another part, it's perfectly understandable. Like I always say, his stocks have never been higher. He has a lot, and I mean a lot to keep up and to live up to in whatever his next job is be. So he doesn't want to take too much of a risk in coming to, well, I would say a Spurs type of club who aren't promised the the success that a lot of people have. And people here saying I'm clickbait and saying Romano said this is back on. As you can see in the title, Antonio Conte to Tottenham is not off the table. Fabrizio Romano, a direct quote from him is, "We can't say it is definitely finished." He's saying there's still a possibility. Conte is still interested in the job. Another quote from Antonio Conte, or from Fabrizio Romano, is, "It's up to Tottenham. Conte has not changed his mind with what he wants. If Tottenham wish to try again, they must provide the Italian with the priorities. If we give Conte what he wants, he will come to Spurs." There's no clickbait there. There's nothing in my title that says this is back on. It is still a possibility, and that's what we're focusing on today. Shauna Blaney with the £10 super chat. Shauna, again, thank you very, very much for that. Really do appreciate it. Says, if Levy changes his mind, I will be shocked, but right now can't see it happening. And that I think is where every Spurs fan is looking at this from. It's possible this could still happen, but with Daniel Levy, a lot of that hope is fading, and a lot of that hope is kind of, it's almost diluted when you're thinking, and in a normal circumstance this could happen, but with Daniel Levy, again, as the comment said a while ago, I think it was Mallory, and said it's the most stubborn manager against the most stubborn chairman. Immediately, it's a very, very difficult deal to get done. It's very hard to see either of those men making concessions. And I think Chris makes a good point there. Levy won't change his ways. And the truth of the matter is, Conte is the one with the power in these negotiations. Conte is happy to take his year off. He's happy to take a sabbatical and wait for the right job to show up. Whereas Daniel Levy knows he needs a marquee manager to appease these Spurs fans. Because of what has been falsely promised to us in the last couple of weeks, he needs a big appointment to keep the Spurs fans on side and to prevent any huge protests and backlash against him that may happen. The power is absolutely in Conte's hands, and that's what Daniel Levy needs to realise. But it is what Daniel Levy won't realise. And that's where I fear we could end up with that, with a Jurgen Klinsmann or a Graham Potter. But just to reiterate that from Romano, we can't say it is definitely finished. Until Friday, Antonio Conte really wanted the Tottenham job, but numerous issues would have to be resolved between the parties. At the moment, nothing is going on. So that's important as well. Right now, there are no talks going on between Conte and Spurs. From what I understand, there has been contact between Antonio Conte's camp and Spurs, just trying to see what's going on, what the state of play is at the moment. But right now there are no talks, and there are no there's no active talks between Spurs and Conte to try and get this deal done. But like we say, it's not off the table. It is still possible. A lot of reports tonight suggesting something similar, but we'll have to wait and see how this one develops. And there have been reports from an Italian source, Il Messaggero, I think, something like that, who are saying that Erik ten Hag is one step away from becoming the next Tottenham manager. It's not that advanced from what I would think. From what I've heard, Spurs are going to push for Ten Hag, but it's not that advanced. There's still a lot to do in that deal if it is what Spurs do wish to pursue. Just sorry, quickly before we go off the Antonio Conte thing, when Fabio Paratici comes into Spurs, like I said, he is going to make one final push for Antonio Conte in a hope that a deal can get done there. But right now, top of Spurs' list of priorities is Erik ten Hag. They're going to try and make a push for that. Danny says, "Hey Matt, is this news actually true? The little devil inside me wants to believe, but you know my thoughts. The angel inside tells me to think with my head, and I listen to the angel most of the times." It's, look, coming from Fabrizio Romano, I take it 99% true. Of course, every bit of journalism, every bit of news, you do have to take it with a pinch of salt, especially when Daniel Levy is involved, and especially with the way things went down last week with Spurs and Conte kind of falling apart so quickly. So you do have to take it with a pinch of salt, but I can't imagine Conte would have gone into negotiations with Spurs and come so close to a deal if he didn't genuinely want this job, and I don't think he'd be willing to throw it away if Levy, is refusing to concede some terms in the contract. If Levy then comes back in and says, well, okay, we'll give you the 7 staff, we'll give you maybe $1.5 million more in your salary, I can't imagine Conte would be so stubborn that he said, well, you didn't give it to me in the first place, so I don't want it now. If Conte is interested in the job, he is interested in the job. If he gets the offers that the terms and the offer that he wants, he will take that. And again, I make the point that if Spurs want a manager before the Euros begin, this deal with Conte is 95% done. The majority of things is agreed. We have Fabio Paratici coming in. It's not going to be that difficult to get this deal done, and I think it is very possible that this could happen, but it's going to take a lot to get to that point. And if I had to make a prediction right now, it won't be Antonio Conte. He won't be the next manager of Spurs, which I really hoped he would be. Thank you to everyone who is subscribing, by the way. I really do appreciate all of you coming in. Over 500 watching right now. Please do hit that like button. Let's see if we can get to 150. And let's subscribe if you're new as well. We're on the road to 10k before the new season starts. And I'm keeping a close eye here on Twitter just to see if there's any news coming in as we're going. But I suppose we can take a quick look back over the odds again. As I said, Antonio Conte shortening with every market tonight. Sky Bet at 5-1, Paddy Power 7-2, William Hill 6-1, Betfair 7-2, and Boyle Sports 7-4, which is actually shortened, I think, since we went live. Bet Victor and Betfred also coming in at 4-1 and 5-1 respectively. Odds are shortening for Erik ten Hag with Sky Bet, William Hill, and Betfred. Roberto Martinez also shortening with William Hill, with Jurgen Klinsmann shortening quite a bit today, coming in at 14-16-1. It'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. Of course, Mauricio Pochettino falling further down the pecking order as Nasser Al-Khelaifi once again expresses his desire and intent to keep Mauricio Pochettino at the football club. But the talk of the day is of course Antonio Conte. Let me know your thoughts in the live chat. Any questions that you may have as well, put them in the live chat. I'll try to get through a few of those. Andre says, if Spurs don't get Conte, I might have to reconsider being a Spurs fan. And look, that's the thing. So many fans are going to fall out of love with this club, or are going to give up hope on this club if it's not Antonio Conte or if it's not Mauricio Pochettino. I think if it's Erik ten Hag, that could be that kind of middle ground where Spurs fans they're upset, but they're not upset enough to make a big deal out of it. So I think there is that middle ground. But look, I apologize for that noise. It's the shower's on in the other room, and it's really loud, so I apologize for that. But Levy knows it has to be a big appointment, because if it is a Klinsmann, if it is a Potter, if it is a Scott Parker, the frustration and the anger and the unrest within the fans it will be unbearable for him. It could force him out of his job. Now, I don't think he will be leaving Spurs anytime soon, but it will be unbearable for him. It will be the worst it's ever been in his time at Spurs, which really is saying a lot. Now, there are reports from ITKs and all this on Twitter saying that is going to affect Daniel Levy's choice of the manager. Now, look, I'm not one who believes in the notes and all that, but it does make sense that because of what has been promised to the fans, Daniel Levy knows he has to bring a big appointment. He has to appease the fans to some extent. And I don't think that will be the key decision or the key factor in his decision, but it will be a factor. Because if now he's thinking, just not these two men particularly, but if it, for example, comes down to a million extra and one staff member extra for Conte, or settle for Potter, he's going to be more inclined to lean towards giving Conte what he wants, because he knows the backlash and he knows how things will commence, how things will go from there if he doesn't get that big manager. And that is my biggest hope right now. And I've said that throughout the last couple of weeks. I know a lot of people who were, didn't think Conte or Potter were going to happen at all, and I wish I'd listened to them. Danny Kiriakou, who's in the live chat now, and Brian Daigle, who's from Tottenham Away, who's always in as well, said from the get-go Conte was not going to happen. And I think they were in the position then that I'm in now, where it's like, Levy's just not going to do it, is he? But there is that, it's what I said to them back then, there is that factor of, well, it has to be a big appointment. Even Daniel Levy isn't stupid enough to promise us Poch, to promise us Conte, and then get Potter. I think that is the... Look, again, maybe it's me just trying to make myself feel better about the whole situation. I don't know. Loves Music with the £4 super chat says, if we don't get Conte, I can see Woolwich going in. Look, Arsenal at the moment, of course, are keeping Mikel Arteta, and the way it stands, they're planning on keeping Arteta. But if Conte becomes available, if Conte makes himself available for that role, I can't imagine they'd look past that opportunity just to give Arteta another chance. If we do hit 600 viewers here live, please do hit that like button. Let's get to 200 as quickly as we can, and do subscribe as well if you are new, as we try to get to 10k before the season starts. Let's take a few more. Thank you very much, Loves Music, for that super chat as well. Let's take a few super chats here. Shauna says, a few comments. Whoever the manager is, I'll always support Tottenham, but will always want Levy out. And look, that's the feeling I'm in right now. That's exactly the way I feel. We can become disillusioned, we can become angry, we can be frustrated, but at the end of the day, we're Spurs fans, and as much as we may want to at times, we can't change that. And I was on Twitter Spaces a while ago, and Sean, I know you tuned in there, so thank you as well for that. And David Harris there, Shotspur, was saying, whoever the manager is, I'm going to back him, and whatever man Spurs bring in for this job, I will back him, and I will support him, and I will 100% want him to be successful. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm happy with the decision, and I'm happy with who Spurs bring in. Because if it's Scott Parker, I'll want him to succeed. I'll be happy with the football he's playing. I'll back him, this, that, and the other. But I won't be happy with it. And I said the same when Jose came in. I wasn't particularly happy about that appointment, but he 100% has my well wishes and my support and all that. So we are Tottenham fans at the end of the day, no matter who the manager is. But we will want Levy out. Even if he gets Conte in now, that banner will be staying up there. If he gets Poch, that'll be staying up there. One managerial appointment to appease the fans is nowhere near enough for Daniel Levy to turn around what he's done at this football club. For the Super League, which we still have to pay 300 million euro to get, or pounds to get out of, that's a problem. Whatever manager he brings in, again, I keep saying it, whether it's Parker, Poch, Conte, or my grandmother, whoever it is, they have to get backed. They absolutely have to get back, because this squad needs a complete upheaval, and whoever the manager is, we need to do that. Priyansh says, when will Paratici officially come? Paratici will be in the next couple of days. I think everything is done there. It's just a matter of putting pen to paper. An announcement is imminent. Everybody's expecting that. With Conte, there were some reports to the contrary, but right now everybody's expecting this to be done, and I do think this will be done in the next couple of days. Martin says, Matt, your growth is insane. Fair play. Thank you, Martin. I really appreciate that. It's been these incredible viewers watching the videos the last week or so that I do really appreciate. But yeah, look, the growth has been great, and like I said, hoping to get to 10k before the season starts. It's a challenge, but it's a challenge that I know we are absolutely capable of achieving. Kyle says, I'm telling you, Conte will come in. I am remaining positive. Love the club no matter what. Justin says, we're going to end up with a crap manager. Levy will bottle it. He always does. A. Dillon says, the next 2 to 4 years will be painful for our fan base until the club sees revenue generated from the stadium gets allocated to the footballing side. And look, that is a concern as well. That is something that this club will have over their head for a couple of seasons. We hadn't planned on a global pandemic closing the stadium for a year and a half when it was built. The finances and the money, the revenue that was going to come in from that stadium would have made a massive difference to Spurs, and subsequently the lack of it makes a massive difference as well. So while we are waiting for that stadium to open, there will be a lack of funds, there will be a lack of this and a lack of that, but at the end of the day, these owners still have enough money to build the squad that needs to be built. If Conte wants to come in and spend 100, 150 million, 200 million pounds in a transfer window, he needs that money, and the club should have that money. Now, they have lost quite a bit of money in the last couple of years, but Joe Lewis is worth over 1.9 billion pounds or $1 billion, whatever it is. He needs to invest in the business to get profit from it. That is simple, basic business. And he's unwilling to invest. He's unwilling to put that money in. And he's trying to get profit the easy way in selling Harry Kane, in selling Gareth Bale, selling Luka Modric. That's not how it works in football. The fans will eventually turn against you. Shane Fleming coming into the £4 super chat. Why are you on pound, Shane? Thank you very much for the super chat, Shane. Says, hello, sir. Been a while. It has been a while. But good to see you in the live chat, Shane. I really appreciate it. But yeah, look, the money needs to go in. Khaldoon Al-Mubarak, the Manchester City chairman, was speaking in the last couple of days, and he was talking about the constant investment that is needed in the squad and the constant refreshing of the personnel in the team. It needs to be done if you want to get success. He said when we won the Premier League, that wasn't the point to sit back and accept, great, we did a great job, pat ourselves in the back. That is the time that he put more money into that team and more money into that squad. And yes, we can sit here and we can criticise City for how much they spend, but we're also damn jealous of the success they have. And we would want to spend that way if it meant we get the same success. Daniel Levy sees a bit of return on his investment, a bit of return on the transfers he's made, and he sits back and done. Doesn't invest for 18 months. Costs Mauricio Pochettino his job at this club. The fact that he had Pochettino turn this club around from a happy to be in the Europa League side to nothing less than Champions League is good enough. Pochettino made us that team. Daniel Levy caused the downfall of that side by not investing for 18 months and then sacked Pochettino. And 18 months later has tried to bring him back. Has admitted his mistake and tried to bring him back. That's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. If a manager made that mistake in terms of selling a player and then tried to get him back and it wasn't good enough, the manager would be sacked. If it was a player who made a mistake like that and maybe changed their position or changed their style of play and then tried to turn it back 18 months later, he'd be sold. I think it was Nigel Clough who said, or was it Brian Clough who said that if a chairman brings in a manager and it doesn't work and he needs to sack the manager, well, the chairman should be sacked as well. And Daniel Levy took an absolutely huge gamble bringing Jose Mourinho into this club, and it failed dramatically. So why is he not held responsible for that? Why is he not held responsible for that? Why does he still get his £3 million bonus for bringing the stadium in, even though it was almost a year late? Failing this team, not bringing in the players that we need, and then waiting 50 days to bring in a manager. It's 49 days today since Jose Mourinho was sacked. And not only did he give someone the job of saying, find managers within this demographic, free-flowing, energetic football, all that good stuff. Find these managers, give me a list, and we'll get one of them. Why did he send that man away to do that job? If he was going to turn around, half-heartedly try and get Pochettino, and then go, no, forget about all that, we're going to get Antonio Conte. And then fail to get Conte. The one word that is there the whole way through is fail. It's failure. This club under Daniel Levy is going to fail. It is an absolute failure, and that's not going to change until Daniel Levy is gone. He can bring in Conte, he can back him, he can do whatever he wants. It's not going to be enough to turn this around. Aglaya Kakaratis, thank you very much for the super chat with the £10, says, Matt, $5 billion is Joe Lewis's net worth according to an internet search. $5 billion. Aglaya, thank you very much for that super chat, and thank you for the information as well. I do appreciate that. He's worth $5 billion, and he can't make up for a loss of 150 million pounds. $5 billion. If you're in this for the football, if you're in this for the footballing success, if you're in this for what is on the football pitch, you put that money in. Daniel Levy said in his post-season remarks in the matchday program, we care about what happens on the pitch. We care about the fans. We care about this. Then all of a sudden, the players take an hour to do a lap of honour and only 7 of them show up. And Daniel Levy doesn't appoint a manager. It's beggars belief how they keep getting away with this, and how, look, I absolutely understand every single Spurs fan is entitled to your opinion, but I do not understand the viewpoint of Levy needs to stay and Levy is doing a good job. I really don't. Ryan Kuhn with another $5 super chat, thank you very, very much for that, says, if Klinsmann becomes our manager, just know that the youth will be incorporated in the squad. As US men's national team manager, he relied on the youth. Tactics wise, not so good. Again, thank you for the super chat and thank you for the information. I know next to nothing about Antonio or about Jurgen Klinsmann as a manager. So the fact that he's bringing in youth would be a good side, but tactics, that's a lot more important than youth. Let's be perfectly honest. And look, that was a concern for Spurs when they were trying to get Antonio Conte in as well. That he didn't want to implement youth. He wanted to get rid of Skip and Sessegnon, and that wasn't good enough for Spurs. So look, Conte did have his concerns and did have his qualms with the job, but Spurs also had their worries, which with that youth thing I do think is warranted. But look, middle ground has to be found. Skip and Sessegnon have been on loan for the last season. Maybe send them out again. I know Norwich would take Skip back. Skip has been seen house hunting in Norwich, so I don't quite know what's going on there. And I'm sure plenty of teams would take Ryan Sessegnon, and after his season at Hoffenheim, I'm sure a year on loan in England would do him the world of good as well. We do have 680 people watching live here now. Again, insane numbers tonight. Please do smash that like button if you are enjoying the stream. If you're happy with the news that Conte is not yet off the table, let's see if we can get to 250 likes. And again, smash that subscribe button. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers before the season starts. We've passed 8.3k, another 50 in the stream, which is ridiculous to think about. Just to go back over the initial news, what we heard earlier today from Fabrizio Romano on Antonio Conte. Link to that entire interview will be down in the description if you do want to go check it out. But the summary of what he said about Conte is, I'll get the direct quote, but basically the deal isn't done. This is still possible. It's not exactly likely right now because, again, Daniel Levy would have to make a lot of concessions in the negotiations, and we know exactly what they are. But the direct quote is, "We can't say it is definitely finished. Until Friday, Antonio Conte really wanted the Tottenham job, but numerous issues would have to be resolved between the parties. At the moment, nothing is going on." Now, as I understand it, when Fabio Paratici is confirmed as sporting director of Spurs, he will push one last time for Antonio Conte to try and convince him to join him in North London. A few more quotes from Fabrizio Romano. "There's great disappointment at Spurs over Conte, but also the belief that an important solution on the manager will soon be reached. There was a difference of approximately €3 million between the salary offered by Tottenham and requested by Conte. It's up to Tottenham if they want Conte. Conte has not finished his mind, or has not changed his mind with what he wants. If Tottenham wish to try again, they must provide the Italian with his priorities." And then finally, one of the biggest issues between Tottenham and Antonio Conte is the staff members. The staff members are really, really important for him. He has fantastic staff. And that is one thing that I cannot accept Spurs messing this deal over. If it's the difference between 4 and 7 backroom staff, give it to him. Give it to him. You can't bring in one of the best managers in the world and refuse to allow him to bring the people that make him one of the best managers in the world. Look, Pochettino, incredible manager who, unbelievable, absolutely deserves all the credit he gets. But at the end of the day, he wouldn't be the same manager and he wouldn't be the same man without his backroom staff of Jesus Perez, Miguel D'Agostino and Tony Jimenez. Without them, he isn't the same manager. Conte is the exact same with his backroom staff. It just so happens there's a few more members of that staff that are important to him. So there's no point to bringing Conte in if you're not going to let him have the staff that need as well. As Oscar says, I never knew staff members was a big issue. Aglaya Kakaratis with another £10 super chat. Aglaya, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Lewis got to stop buying yachts and artworks by artistic players who can win us trophies. We've been starved of success for far too long. So my message to all the owners, get Conte. And I feel that is the message that every Spurs fan is screaming out to Enoch right now. Get Antonio Conte. He wants this job. He is willing to take this job. Give him what he wants and get him into this football club, because it could be insanely transformative for this team if we can get someone like Conte in. Aglaya, thank you very much for the super chat. I do appreciate that. Thank you everyone for the super chats today as well. And look, one more time, Romano said that Spurs still hope to provide a big surprise and to bring Antonio Conte, or to bring a manager in before the Euros begin. We still hope to produce a surprise in the next few days and appoint a manager before the Euros. The Euros, of course, begin on Friday with Turkey facing Italy. I personally don't think it'll be done by that. I think there's a lot that Spurs will have to do to get something done by them. But look, we have to be hopeful. What are Spurs fans without hope? We try so hard to keep the mood up, keep the mentality up, as much as Daniel Levy tries to take that away from us. Let's hope Spurs can achieve what they want to achieve. Now, what I do want to say before we go is Tottenham away have just reached 1,000 subscribers on their channel today. Massive congratulations to Tottenham away. And what we're going to do to congratulate them, as we like to do quite often on this channel, is we are going to raid their current live stream. And we're going to go in, say, Matt Hayes raid, congrats on 1k. Let's get as many people as we can. There's 700 watching here. Let's get every single one of you over to Tottenham away to congratulate them on their 1k. And look, let them know where you came from. Say Matt Hayes raid, congrats on 1k. Let's get over to Tottenham away and give them the support they deserve. As for the support on this channel, thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the kind comments, the likes, the subscribes, the super chats as well that are flying in the last couple of days. Thank you very much to all of you. Look, before we do go, super chat here from Brian C. Brian, thank you very much coming in with the €11. I really appreciate that. Says, superb reporting on this manager roller coaster, Matt. Keep up the excellent streams. We continue to live in hope and delusion that they will finally win back the football, or they'll finally back the footballing side to win trophies, and that's it. It's hope and delusion is all we have as Spurs fans, Brian. But thank you very much for your kind words, and thank you for the super chat, and thank you for the support in the channel as well. It is massively appreciated. Look, like I said, get over there, raid Tottenham away, say Matt Hayes raid, congrats on 1k. Let's give them the support they deserve, hitting incredible numbers over the last couple of weeks. So get over there and show them all the support that you can. But we are going to wrap up this stream there. Make sure to hit a like on your way out, subscribe if you haven't already, and hopefully we'll have better news when we stream tomorrow. As always, thanks for watching.